Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. In this week's technical analysis, we'll cover the big three, OMG, POWR Ledger and EOS. Before we jump into it, I just want to answer a few questions I've been getting. So in the description of all my videos, I've got links to where I get my t-shirts. I've got discount codes for the chart guys, courses and their alert system for you traders out there. I've also got the link to join the waiting list for my crypto academy. So we had capped at 1,000. We're starting to gradually let in more members. We've got a fantastic private group on Facebook and now Slack. Our focus is education. We've been killing it with our research lately, so 1,000% returns on POWR Ledger, Horizon State, a few of those ICOs that we've recommended, as well as that trading room. We've only had one losing trade in the past 5 months based on trading around fundamentals as well as those technical analysis and sentiment. So let's jump into the technical analysis tonight. Last week, Bitcoin was trading around 8,900 and I painted a couple of scenarios for you guys. So we're aware that we could just continue to push higher and blow through 10,000. I was hoping to get a bit of a chop around before the next bracket on December 2nd for that next push higher because we were overextended. So look, the fact is we've continued higher. The RSI is now sitting at around 84. So again, it does need to cool off. But Bitcoin's just been a power of strength, and a lot of people were expecting a nice easy pullback, hoping to buy more at 7,000. And when everyone's hoping to buy more, I told my members that I don't think we're going to get a pullback right now. Just because everyone wants a pullback, everyone thinks that 10,000 is going to be resistance. It's generally not what happens when everyone is expecting something. So look, we coiled up, we burst through 10,000, we ran all the way up to 11,500. That 25% whipsaw in the one daily candle was the only correction we got before we formed that equilibrium pattern. And again, we broke out when a lot of people were expecting us to break down. So look, it has been sort of decreasing bull volume. So I'd like to see that pick up, particularly if we break 11,500. I'll be looking for a big pickup in volume. We're not out of the woods yet. I'd like to see us chop around and again form a sort of sideways action for the next launch higher. But for the time being, we've just got to be aware that everything's pretty bullish in this space, and as long as more money continues to flow in, the big three are likely to continue to go up in price. So just one thing I want to point out is this pushback between the IRS and Coinbase. Now this is something that could maybe cause a bit of downside momentum in the short term. So the US moves to criminalize non-disclosure of cryptocurrency ownership. So look, you're guilty until proven innocent. If you've got a Coinbase account, if you're mucking around with cryptocurrency, you are guilty unless you disclose everything basically. And this is not the sort of thing that I like to see. So if the US are going to crack down on crypto, innovation's just going to move to other countries. And there's certainly a number of those that are taking crypto-friendly stances to support innovation and not treat everyone like a criminal who's got cryptocurrency wallets out there. So look, I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. Let's see if this turns into a FUD or something more meaningful. But for the time being, I'm looking for something fundamental. I don't think we're going to get a big correction in price just for the sake of it, because there's too many people wanting to buy cryptocurrency down at these levels. So Ethereum was trading around $463 last week. Here's the 4-hour chart. We're trading around here, going sideways. We're very much aware that we're going to get this push up from these cycle brackets that was going to last at least a few days. That $500 target, I told you guys, I told my members months ago that was almost a given in my mind, that Ethereum reached $500 before the end of the year. And we've got that. So that spike up to 520, we're now pulling back. We knew that this bracket was going to bottom as well on the 2nd of December. So, we've had a nice run, right-hand translation for the majority of the length of this bracket. Now we're just getting a bit of a pullback, and whether or not we're starting this bracket, a day or two early for this next push up. Very bullish stuff again. This can be very powerful. A right-hand translation giving a little bit back, and then we get another launch higher. Be a very bullish setup for Ethereum here. Again, I think the fundamentals remain pretty strong. We can chop around sideways before we get another push higher, but I don't see us having meaningful correction unless we get something fundamental to really change the overall picture for Ethereum. Now Litecoin was trading around $86. we're looking up at that $100 target. We're looking up at that all-time high. We're aware that this bracket here was going to, give us this big push up on the 28th, and we certainly, again, we went up for the majority of the length of this bracket. We have this big pullback here, these 2 days correction, and then we hit this 28th mark for that next leg up higher, and look, that's taken us from $76 all the way up there for best part of a 40% move. So again, these cycles are guiding us almost perfectly for Litecoin. I was talking about regaining these old trend lines that acted as resistance at times. If we can pass through them, they can act as support, and we get a couple of touches here, and then now again acting as support. So it's great to see when all this technical analysis and fundamentals pays off. A fantastic coin like Litecoin that just goes about its business in the background and continues to see money flow into it. So look, Litecoin, we're looking to make that $100 a new base here. Let's chop around. We have got this bracket pushing higher up until the 13th of December when we have that next pullback there. So it all depends. If we chop around sideways, again, I think Litecoin's going to generally track the action of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we see those traders jumping between the big three on those shorter time frames, handing the baton and pushing all three of those markets higher. Go was trading around $7.60 last week. Again, this is one of my favorite coins. I made it very clear to members and you guys on YouTube that I was backing the truck up at $6 for the long-term holdings. We've put a few swing trades on this one as well over the last couple of weeks. Fantastic trading coin. It's pretty upsetting to hear that people got wiped out on this Bitfinex order book here, the spike down to $3. So again, guys, don't over leverage yourself. Don't trade huge positions. I try not to put myself in the position that my account will get liquidated at any price. Okay, so look, depends if you want to trade with stop losses or if you want to swing trade, trade against Bitcoin or against US dollars. You just got to be aware of all these things that unfortunately some of these lower volume coins, when we get these volatile moves in Bitcoin, these smaller coins can really chop around, and I'm really sorry for anyone that got wiped out with this spike down on Bitfinex. Maybe a few of you guys had orders sitting here and were lucky enough to pick up some Go for the split second or so that it was down at these levels. So look, it's regained this really old long-term support resistance line, $7.20. We've got a bit of a pairs trade on at the moment that members know that involves Go and another coin. So I think this one's just a matter of time until it gets back to those all-time highs. It's had some good fundamental news. This long-term bear trend looks to be over here, and we're just starting this stair-step pattern higher. So plenty to like here for Go. I've got this one in my long-term portfolio, and I know plenty of you guys do too. POWR Ledger, really interesting one. So as we said, I recommended this one to my members in the ICO price of 8 cents. It ran to 90 cents, so well over 1,000% returns there. It did pull back to 50 cents, so it did run too hard, too fast. We're looking at this priced in Bitcoin here. We get that spike up, almost a perfect 78.6% correction. And now we're just forming that equilibrium pattern. So look, buyers stepped in here. I think this is a good coin that people were waiting for that pullback to add it to their portfolio that missed out on the initial run. Again, we're just starting that stair step higher. Fantastic coin. I suspect that this is going to continue to have good news announcements in the coming weeks, coming months, and coming years. So a good coin. I think we've seen the bottom for the time being for POWR Ledger. Well done to you guys that have picked it up here or on this pullback. So EOS, an interesting one. They came out and labeled themselves the Ethereum killer. Vitalik's since come out and said that Ethereum is the Ethereum killer. I'm going to leave my judgment until they've got a working product. So there's a lot of people out there that are pretty bullish on this one. I'm going to wait until I see what that testnet is. So a lot of people are excited about that announcement on the 4th of December. I think that's already starting to get priced in. So, let's zoom out. This coin was trading at less than 50 cents only a month ago. So it's up 800% now. You've just got to be aware, okay? So guys, if you haven't bought this one, maybe this isn't the best time to buy when it's just run 800% and there's a bit of hype surrounding an upcoming announcement. And we see time and time again that people do sell the news. If it's a fantastic news announcement, it can continue higher. But any sort of disappointment or anything that was already priced in, we tend to get profit taking. So if people have got 800% gains, even 100% gains in their account, they're going to look to lock it in if that news announcement isn't too crash hot. So look, a lot of people will be eyeing off EOS this week. Let's see what happens, but let's just be aware that it's run pretty hard, pretty fast. That daily RSI now is up at 90, and I personally would not be a buyer of EOS at this level. It's forming that spinning top candle on the daily, which is a bearish reversal sign as well. So there's a few warning signs for me for why I won't be buying any more EOS up at this $4 mark. So guys, thanks for tuning in. Let's keep an eye on the fundamentals. You know that I think that they determine the overall price action as well as sentiment in this market. So it continues to be overwhelmingly positive. We do need to take a breather. We can't continue higher at this rate. Let's just be aware where we are in the grand scheme of things, and the long-term view for these markets continues to remain very bullish, optimistic, with the futures and ETFs hopefully on the way. More and more people getting into this space. There's plenty to like. So thanks for tuning in. Please hit like, subscribe if you haven't already, share these videos around, and as always, thanks for tuning in, guys. Cheers.